Hey guys, TR-1 again. This time the review of the 144th scale high-grade Noodles of the Century Gundam TR-1 Advanced Hazel from the Advance of Zeta series. For colors, we have the typical Titans colors. We have a lot of dark blue. We have some black on the feet, the chest, the top of the shield booster here. Then we have some yellow for the thrusters, front of the legs, back of the legs on the shield boosters, the vents, the V-fin. Then we have some red for the crotch, the cockpit, and even here on the chin. And quite unusual for a Titan's mobile suit, we even have some white here for the sensor and for this shield booster. Other than that, we of course have gray for the joints and a few other smaller details. Then for stickers, we get a few of those. For the normal ones, they're really nice and metallic. We have one long one, and that is for the top of the head for the sensor there. And we have two smaller ones that go into the legs, one bigger one that goes into the backpack. And finally, we have the eye stickers. Fortunately, they are kind of covered up by the head sensor, but when you remove it, there they are. Also, you do get a separate piece so that you can have it as a normal Gundam head. So the eye sticker does serve a purpose. One unfortunate thing is there's no small sticker for either this sensor here or the front of the sensor. But you do get enough green here on the sticker sheet left over, so you can cut out your own stickers. And as with all of the Advance of Zeta kits, we get really nice marking stickers, and we get a lot of them. Also, if you follow the manual, you will use all of them except for one of the Titan symbols and these two warning symbols, which you can place wherever you want. This one here should go on the left or right of the extra arm thing, the sub-arm unit. Then we have this sticker right here that goes on each side and also on the knee. Then we have another one up here, Titan symbol up there, smaller Titan symbol on here. On the back we have yet another Titans test team symbol. Here we have a bunny, because you know Hazel is from that one famous novel. A bigger Titans test team sticker, the same one which is, the bigger one is applied on here. So this, that thing, and the one on here, and the ones on the legs, those are all pretty much the same thing, just in different sizes. And then the one that goes on here is once again the same sticker, but in black. Same as the one that's still on here, that's supposed to go onto the sub-arm unit. So you get a lot of stickers. Some of them are quite the same, but hey, they're really nice stickers. And one final thing I have to say about the color scheme is that they did take a few liberties with the color scheme. For example, the dark blue here, that border should have been white. Another thing that should have been white is the dark blue on the top of the feet. Should have been white as well. Also, talking about artistic liberties, this enhanced, let's have a look at the manual, enhanced shield booster. Yep, that's what it is. That should have just been this thing, but also with a white border. Though, I say artistic liberties because if you look at the manual, it's supposed to be like this. It's not like they molded it in the wrong colors and you have to paint it. So, that is just an interesting thing to consider. And I have to say, I do prefer it in dark blue because it's a Titan's mobile suit and, well, they are known for being quite dark. So then, moving on with the articulation, the head goes really nicely upwards, down a bit, rotates around, depending on which accessory you have on here. And there that goes. So yeah, you can rotate the head all the way around if you don't have these things on and if you have the yellow handlebars on there. And then just gonna get this back, also has a bit of forwards and backwards movement. Arms rotate around all the way, nicely forwards, bit backwards, go up about that far, rotate around all the way quite easily, bend on two joints, something not all modern kits have nowadays, Then hands are ball jointed, will turn around, wiggle around, and do everything a ball joint does. The waist, if you extend it a bit, has a really nice forwards and backwards movement. And what I also like is he can actually support the weight of the backpack, so that is definitely nice. We'll also rotate around all the way without being hindered too much by the back scut. And then talking about that backpack, something I wasn't expecting is that it's not actually the booster pods, well, the booster things are themselves that move, but it's actually the thing that holds them that moves up and down. Also, you can push this in. If you don't have these on, you can push it in and once still move it around. And also these go a bit in and out. One thing I have to say is the white one is actually pretty secure, but the darker one is a bit on the wobbly side, unfortunately. But, you know, the super glue trick should fix that. Front skirts, usual stuff, molded together, can be separated. Legs go out about that far. But, you know, those giant knees do get a bit in the way of the forward movement. Backwards about that far, not too bad. Go out quite nicely, actually. Rotate around. Once again, quite nicely. Then the knees are double jointed, but yeah, that's about as far as you could expect for those humongous legs. Would have been cool if you had a bit more, because as you can see, the legs don't stop moving because they hit the thrusters. They actually stop moving just because that's as far as the joint will go. And then the feet, that's one of the thrusters. Feet go forwards. Well, they look like they go forwards really far, but that is also because you have those high heels units on them, and the actual feet is, you know, just that part there. Backwards, once again, not as far, but it's just the looks because we have the high heels, and when you look at the normal foot, it actually goes backwards quite a bit. Then we'll go side to side, rotate around, and that is rolled. Also, you do have the flip-flop joint in there. So you have a ball joint at the top and then the flip-flop joint right there. So you do get a nice range of movement of the feet. Also, you can remove this unit if you just want the normal feet and make it look like he has a bit more backwards movement. So overall, the articulation is really nice for a kid of its time. And also considering the bulkiness of the legs, the articulation is really top notch. Also, love the double elbow joint, which not a lot of kids seem to be doing nowadays. On to the accessories, and starting off with a few basic ones. First up, let's remove this hand. Also, this one suffers from the age-old problem that the Hazels have had. Quite loose hands. However, believe it or not, but this trigger finger hand is super solid. I can do this all day and it's not gonna come loose. I was genuinely shocked when I saw that this trigger finger hand was so solid, especially for the Hazels. So I'm not sure if I'm just lucky or if this is like the exception to the rule, but this hand is absolutely perfect. Not only is it more solid than the other Hazels, this is one of the best trigger finger hands I've had so far. It's really secure, and I honestly cannot believe that I'm saying that about any kind of hand on any kind of Hazel. So yeah, a really good hand for a really nice gun. We have a stock, goes up and down, and we also have removable ammo clip. Attention to detail, I love that kind of stuff. The only unfortunate thing I have to say about the gun is we do not get the long barrel. That would have made this perfect. So then let's get him to hold it with both hands. Oh, and unlike the right hand, the left hand is actually pretty good. And I was just about to say, I hope I didn't jinx that. So yeah. Oh dear. You know, it's that typical kind of thing that happens when you say something on camera. And let's put this back in there. Come on. And there. No, doesn't really want to hold on to the handle that well on camera. You know, he can hold on to the beam saber quite well, but this thing, well, guess we're just gonna have to grab the other hand for that, which is the left grabbing hand. And you might notice something that at first glance looks unfortunate, a white hand cover. But the thing is, all of the hand covers are interchangeable. So I just have the white hand cover here because, you know, I ran out of blue hand covers. But if you want to use this hand, you can just grab one of the blue hand covers and put it on here. It's a shame that they couldn't give us five of the blue hand covers, but this is just as good because the white hand covers technically don't exist in that way. So that's really good. And then, you know, you just have them like this. But now let's say you don't really want to use the gun, or you want to use your hands for something else. Simply pull this thing apart here and bring in the sub-arm unit. And all you have to do is just pull out the crotch piece here and simply slide it through here and mount it back on there. Now at first I wasn't really sure how I felt about this, but now it's a really cool thing. Also, one thing I was worried about was how it was going to conflict with the articulation, but go up really nicely, and you know, it does conflict a bit, but not too horribly, not as bad as I was expecting. I mean, when you look at something like the dual Gundam Assault Shroud or the Alex Gundam's Chobham armor, this is really no big deal at all. And also, these arms are really nicely articulated for what they are. So they go up and down individually. This here is a swivel joint, and then the arms, there we go, come out. And we have three tiny little fingers, 1 and 2, and they are perfectly made to hold on to the beam rifle. And there they go. And you can have a lot of fun with these hands, because not only can they hold on to this beam rifle, but of course, if you have some other small arms hanging around, you know, you can just give them to those beam rifles. Or you can make it look like these arms are recharging the beam rifle. Well, recharging, there we go, reloading the beam rifle. Because we do get not 1, but 2, well, I guess they're actually 4 spare clips, because the beam rifle does use 4 clips at the same time. It's going to just click in there, and they are very, very solid. So that is very good. And like I said, you can actually remove this. Unfortunately, the hands, well, let's see how well they will hold on to it. Because the thing is, they don't really have a lot of contact surface going around. But they will do a decent job if you can kind of get them to lock into some of the intersections. But right now they can kind of hold on to it, but I wouldn't really count on it lasting. But if they're new, you can actually get them to hold on to even something like an extra cartridge. So these hands are really fun to play around with. Get them to hold a bunch of stuff. If you have some spare weapons hanging around, give them one of those, or just have them reload your weapon. So then, because we can give our beam rifle to the hands, we can now use the secondary weapon we get, the beam saber, which comes with one very nice clear beam, and this is the dark pink. For this we get a dedicated hand, which looks really nice, and this is actually very similar to the kind of hand you would get molded together with the beam saber with some model kits such as the gym commands. A lot of the seed kits came with these, but unfortunately this hand does suffer from the typical Hazel problems. Hands that don't really stick together that well. But as you see, you can just slide the beam saber in there, so nothing is stopping you from gluing this thing together. And then you just put it in there. And yeah, that's not really gonna work out, is it? And also, because you do get 2 white hand covers, you could always use the white ones together as an extra option. That's really good. But what this hand is really made for is kind of a dramatic drawing pose. And in case you want a more normal holding pose, you can just grab one of the normal holding hands. Once they're together again, slide it in there. Oh dear, looks like the left hand just deteriorated on screen. Because before the review, it was holding on very well actually. And as you can see, if they don't fall apart, they will hold on to the beam saber pretty well. And just remove the blade, put it in there, and then you kind of have this hand to do a dramatic grabbing pose. Looks really nice if the hand wants to stay together. With all of the weapons out of the way, we also get the shield with a very nice TR symbol on it. Then, unfortunately, we only get one of these. Goes on either arm, and the reason I say unfortunately will become very clear in just a second. Another kind of unfortunate thing is that the brace doesn't really like to stay on the arm all that well and is kind of prone to falling off. The shield isn't going to fall out of the brace at all. It's actually in there very nicely, but the thing itself, you know, I might want to apply some super glue to that tip there. Now, the reason why it's a bit unfortunate that you only get one of those is because the shield boosters have the same kind of connection as the normal shield. So you can just put them in there for some extra thrust on the arms. And it would have been awesome if you got an extra one and you could use both of them, because you do get 2 of those shield boosters, but only 1 brace to put them in. And as with almost all the shields, you can of course put it either on the side or on the back. So let's put the normal shield back in there. And then the final pieces that we're getting are spare parts that are left over from the Hazel custom. So the cool thing is, not only can you build this as the advanced Hazel, but you can also build it as the Hazel custom in more Titan-esque colors. So we get a normal Gundam V-fin. Simply remove the sensor. If you don't like it, you put this on there, and then you just get the parts in order to make the movable booster pod there that comes with the Hazel custom. So you just get those parts, put them on there, and then you also get 2 of these handlebars, and you can choose between using the handlebars or these things. It's never really mentioned what they are, but to me they look, I think they're supposed to be the multi-purpose launcher. So they can be anything you want them to be. They can be smoke grenades, flashbangs, normal grenades perhaps even, you know, anything you want them to be. And then you have the handles. You can either put them in there or they can be in a more upward position. And that, well, it's not really useful for this machine because you only get 1 of those braces, but we actually have some compatibility with the Hazel custom. And the thing is, there is actually another reason why we got those white hand covers. It wasn't just to cover up the remaining hands, but these hands are also for use with the Hazel custom, and this is what those handlebars are for. They kind of fold out, and then he can hold on to them for extra stabilizing. So essentially the idea here is that he holds on to those grips in order to stabilize the boosters, which, well, is an interesting idea. And as you can see, you do have to use the boosters from our good friend, the advanced Hazel here, because the Hazel custom only comes with the one. But it is cool that they gave some extra accessories in this kit to the Hazel custom. So yeah, they can use each other's accessories. And finally, a few pointers on the unused holes that are on this machine. The first thing, we have these grooves here on the head, which are for the Mark II's Vulcan pod. But the problem is that while you can put it on the head and it's going to go on there absolutely perfectly, you cannot, when you have this on there, and it goes, you cannot put the head on here unless you remove those extra things that are on here. What this is meant for is, you know, you take this head, you put this on, and then you put it on the body of the Jim Quell or the Gundam Mark II, because these things here are just too high for the head. Or you could try extending the neck. Then of course you can put it on there because it's very barely that it won't fit, or you can try to modify it a bit. Anyways, this thing will fit on the head, and how you modify it is going to be up to you. Then the final holes that the manual doesn't mention are these on here. Unfortunately, I'm not exactly sure what those are for. You can't really put anything from here and there because this is just a normal round peg, and these are rectangular, this one is square, and you know, it doesn't really go in there, even though you might think that the round one is going to go into the square one. They look very similar, but so far I have no idea what they're for. Maybe someone in will leave a comment down below what they're for, and then I'll put up an annotation link right here. As always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? And for 1,600 yen, I think that this is a great deal. Articulation is really nice. Double jointed elbows, not even all modern day kids have. Accessories, fantastic. Not only does this kit alone have a lot of customization options, you get the extra parts from the Hazel custom. So for the head, you don't like the sensor, use the normal Gundam head. You don't like the feet, you don't like the high heels, you take them off and you have normal feet. Then with those sub arms, you can have a lot of fun with that, posing them, seeing what they can do, perhaps unfortunately finding out what they can't do, but those sub arms are a lot of fun to try and pose. I was, you know, not really into them when I saw them, but when I built them and when I tried them out, they were really a lot of fun to see what you could get them to hold, like a hyper mega launcher even. And, you know, all those other little things you can do with it and to really make it your own personal Hazel. And then, let's not forget, all of those Hazels and Advance of Zeta kits are made to work with each other. So if you just buy this one, you know, you can have a lot of fun, but if you buy yet another one, the fun only expands and you can really make your own personal Advance of Zeta machine, your own personal Hazel. So this thing alone is good for hours of fun. When you can buy another with it, it's like Legos with Gundam, with plastic model kits. It's awesome. Legos are awesome, Gundam is awesome, and Gundam plastic models are awesome. So that's triple awesome. And you know, I really didn't try to shoehorn a triple joke in there. So then, in short, let's just say that this kit was the reason I immediately went ahead and back ordered the other Hazels. Because at first, I wouldn't say I disliked it, for me it was just going to be another kit. I thought, you know what, let's give it a try. It's in stock, I'll see what it gives. And I was really blown away by how awesome this was. It's even impeding my ability to speak with its awesomeness. So then, all that's left to do now is some size comparisons. And you know, because it's the Advance of Zeta, I have to compare it with a customized Hazel-esque machine. So here we have the Jim Quell 2 and the Gundam Mark II. And next up, here he is next to the standard sized Jim Custom and the very bulky Zaku 3. As you can see, it's slightly bigger than the standard mobile suit because of those high heels. If you would take them away, you would have about a standard size machine. But as it is right now, it's slightly bigger than a standard machine, and you gotta love the bulk on it. The legs, the backpack definitely give it a nice massive feel. Maybe not quite as massive as the Zaku 3, but it's still pretty damn good. And finally, let's do a group picture. There we go. And if you had to pick one of them, I would say definitely go for the Advanced Hazel. You really can't go wrong with that one. And I'm not just saying that because of the badass color scheme. Even though it would have been really nice if, you know, all the other Titans mobile suits had the same kind of badass color scheme. But, like I said, if you have to pick one, definitely go for the Advanced Hazel. The Gym Quells is a really cool pick too, but with the Advanced Hazel, with everything I mentioned, especially when you combine it with other machines, it's just fantastic. Well, that's all for this review, and see you guys next time.